Good afternoon. My name's Whitney Christie. I am the dietitian for Mary Washington Healthcare's Regional Cancer Center. And today we are going to present plant-based smoothies for the holidays and beyond. I am joined by Laura Cunningham, who is a dietitian from Kate Farms. The purpose of this presentation is to educate you on learning a little bit more about plant-based diets and the protective role it plays in preventing cancer. Laura, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also about Kate Farms?
Sure. Thank you so much, Whitney. And I'm so happy to be joining you all today to be making some plant-based smoothies. So as Whitney said, my name is Laura Cunningham and I'm a dietitian with Kate Farms. Kate Farms is a plant-based nutrition company, and it was created by a father who was looking for higher quality nutrition for his tube-fed daughter. The formulas are all plant-based, organic, non-GMO, and free of the top 8 allergens, and they can be consumed by mouth or both through a feeding tube.
Thanks, Laura. We'd also like to thank Kate Farms for donating as a way for us to promote this event. We had 100 bags that were donated by Kate Farms that were distributed to cancer patients in all of our different locations at Mary Washington Healthcare, and they included things like protein shakes, 2 samples of those, recipe cards, shopping lists, and info on the event, and also cookbooks. And I am going to start by presenting. All right, so there's information in this presentation that is from the World Cancer Research Fund and the American Institute for Cancer Research, and we'd just like to take the opportunity to give them credit with the research, or with some of the things that I'm getting ready to present. All right. First, we're going to take a look at AICR. They're the American Institute for Cancer Research, and they're actually based out of Washington, D.C. And these are some of their recommendations for cancer prevention. They have quite a few here. A lot of them do stem around more of a plant-based diet. So we were going to review some of these. So eating a diet rich in whole grains, vegetables, fruits, and beans. Also limiting the consumption of fast foods and other processed foods high in fat, starches, or sugars. Limiting the consumption of red and processed meat, being at a healthy weight, being physically active, limiting consumption of sugar-sweetened drinks, limiting alcohol consumption, do not use supplements for cancer prevention. For mothers, breastfeed your baby if you can, and after a cancer diagnosis, follow our recommendations if you can. And the American Institute for Cancer Research is the latest and most authoritative scientific research. They publish the latest and most authoritative scientific research around the world on cancer prevention and survival through diet, weight, and physical activity, so that we can help people make informed lifestyle choices to reduce their cancer risk. These next 2 things that I'm presenting, these are visualization tools that can help you build your plate more towards a plant-based diet. You're going to see the choosemyplate.gov. That is released by the USDA. A lot of people are very familiar with this and have seen it around. It actually replaced the food guide pyramid. And then the other one is the New American Plate. That is also released by the American Institute for Cancer Research, and it is a tool for building your plate. As you can see on the plate, 2/3 or more of it are going to be filled with vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and beans, and then 1/3 of it is some type of animal protein. So this just shows that you do not have to exclude meat in your diet to have a plant-based diet. There are a lot of definitions of plant-based, and I just wanted to, assure everybody that you can still include meat in your diet to have a plant-based diet. All right, and then the American Institute for Cancer Research, in collaboration with the World Cancer Research Fund International, they actually release these continuous update project where they publish different lifestyle factors or physical activity factors or nutrition related factors, and all different types of cancer and different factors that may decrease the risk of cancer or increase the risk of cancer. So I just wanted to let you know that this is a tool that is out there. As you can see here, there's one that's listed for premenopausal breast cancer. And there's not a lot of things in terms of controllable things and as far as nutrition that are listed here, but probable evidence does show that physical activity, body fatness, which I will also relate more to the term obesity, and lactation can actually decrease your risk for premenopausal breast cancer. And in terms of increased risk, alcoholic drinks and greater birth weight are things that can increase risk. And then in terms of postmenopausal breast cancer and some of the evidence that's out there in terms of increasing risk, alcoholic drinks, also obesity, adult weight gain, and adult attained height are things that can increase risk for postmenopausal breast cancer. And then in terms of decreasing risk, physical activity, and then also obesity in young adulthood and lactation, there's probable evidence that those can decrease your risk for postmenopausal breast cancer. So what is a plant-based diet? A plant-based diet includes vegetables, fruits, nuts, legumes, whole grains, herbs, and spices. Your plate is going to be filled with mainly these types of foods, and it can be protective to your body and to keep you healthy during and after cancer treatment. It also contains vitamins, minerals, fiber, and phytochemicals, which can help with disease prevention. And I'd also like to point out that there is no single way to achieve a plant-based diet or plant-forward eating pattern. It can be flexible and customized to fit any region and cultural traditions, and can also honor individual food preferences. Phytochemicals. So what are phytochemicals? These are basically components of plants that give them their flavor, color, fiber, and texture. They may help prevent cancer, and they may also help with preventing damage to the cell's DNA. And the type of phytochemical is going to vary based on the color of the plant. That's why you see several different types of fruits and vegetables here with all different colors. So it's important that we eat a variety of plant foods of different colors to obtain these phytochemicals. How much do you need per day? In terms of fruit intake, you need 1.5 to 2 cups daily of fruits, and vegetables, 2 to 3 cups of vegetables daily. So people who eat more vegetables and fruits have a lower risk of a wide range of cancers, and this probably reflects combined protection from many different nutrients and compounds they contain. So now it's smoothie time. We're going to take it to Laura, and she's going to talk to us about how to make a smoothie. And she's going to talk to us also about the benefits of some of the, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the benefits of some of the plants or the fruits and vegetables that are in the smoothies that she's making.
Great. Thank you so much, Whitney. And I'm so glad you mentioned the bag. So if you are interested in making some of these smoothies, included in those bags are recipe sheets with these recipes and others, as well as the shopping list to make the 2 smoothies that we're going to be making today, and a couple of samples of our formula if you'd like to use them to make your smoothie. So today we're going to make 2 different smoothies. We're going to make a kale avocado smoothie and then a gingerbread cookie smoothie to get us, in the festive holiday spirit. So we're going to start with our kale avocado smoothie, and we're going to use our Kate Farm Standard 1.0 vanilla formula as the base of the smoothie. So I'm going to start by adding that here into the blender after giving it a good shake. And one of the great things about Kate Farm's formulas is they do have phytonutrients already in the formula. So those phytochemicals that Whitney spoke about earlier are already incorporated into the formula. And then when you make a smoothie, you get the benefits of the ingredients. So we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a nice healthy handful of kale, a third of a cup of frozen pineapple. You can just get that at your grocery store in the frozen fruit section. Half of a cup of ripe avocado. and then 1/2 cup of sliced green apple. And I've gone ahead and left the skin on the green apple, so you get the benefits of the fiber from that. You could also potentially add 1/2 cup of ice to this recipe. I've chosen not to because I found that the ingredients, especially the frozen pineapple, give it that nice, thick smoothie type consistency. So I'm going to pop my lid on here, and I'm going to go on mute for a couple seconds to spare you all the sound of heat. All right, so we've blended that up nicely. Take the lid off here. And give it a pour into the glass. You can see it's that beautiful yellow color from the pineapple, and also the color of the Cape Farms because it's a yellow pea based formula. It's that nice yellow and some green from the kale. And it's really refreshing. So good. A little bit sweet, really good tasting formula. So I'll put this back in, and then we'll give it a go on our gingerbread cookie smoothie. So as I said, just in time for the holidays. So for this one, we're going to use our Cape Farms standard 1.4 vanilla formula as the base. So this one has a little bit more calories than the standard 1.0 vanilla. So we'll give it a good shake. Pour it into the blender here. And this recipe is really nice because a lot of the ingredients are things that you probably already have in your spice cabinet. So the recipe calls for 4 teaspoons of cinnamon. I've gone ahead and just done 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. If you're someone that really likes the cinnamon spice, you may want to go ahead and do the 4 teaspoons, but I think it's good to start with 2 in this one and then add more if you'd like. Next up, we have 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of ground clove, and then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and add that 1/2 cup of ice to give it more of a thicker consistency, since most of the ingredients are spices. All right, I'm going to pop my lid on here, and we'll do a quick mute again to spare you the sound of the blender. All right, I'm going to give that a pour. Yeah, I can already smell the cinnamon and the other spices in there. Give it a taste. Delicious. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. All right, to start the presentation back up, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that Laura put in the smoothie, and just to talk about some of the benefits. The first thing we're going to talk about is avocados. I love avocados. Just so everybody knows, they are low in saturated fats, and they have good fats in them as well. They also are a great source of fiber. They have 4.6 grams of fiber in half of an avocado, and they also contain potassium. A lot of people think that bananas are an excellent source of potassium, and they are, but avocados actually have 975 milligrams of potassium compared to bananas that have 544 milligrams of potassium. And they also contain phytosterols, which are naturally occurring compounds found in the plant cell membranes that help to lower cholesterol and improve overall heart health. And just a little bit about the antioxidants that they contain. They contain lycopene and beta carotene, or carotenoids. And the highest concentration of these is located in the dark green flesh closest to the peel. And I often get questions on how to extend the shelf life of avocados. So for ripe avocados, place them in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 days to extend the shelf life. And then for freshness, if they're not ripe, leave them out on the countertop for 4 to 5 days to ripen. All right, moving on to kale. Kale is another great vegetable that Laura put in the smoothies. Did you know that kale has more vitamin C than an orange? It also has dietary fiber in it, flavonols, which have antioxidant properties. And then they also have folate, they have glucosinolates. That's a group of plant metabolites that have anti-cancer properties. And then they also contain carotenoids. And those are the pigments, those are in pigments of yellow, orange, red colored things. And they have the highest level actually in the end of the kale. So, and then another thing about kale is a serving of kale actually has more absorbable calcium than a small carton of milk. Talking about the pineapple, a pineapple has vitamin C, flavonoids, which are phytonutrient compounds used in foods and that can help prevent cancer. And actually, it's the only edible fruit of its kind that contains bromelates. And bromelates are a group of enzymes found in the fruit and stem of the pineapple plant. Pineapple has been used for centuries in Central and South America to treat indigestion and to reduce inflammation. Bromelain, which is derived from the stem and juice of the pineapple, was first isolated from the pineapple plant in the late 1800s. And it takes 18 to 20 months to harvest pineapples. And then moving on to apples, some wonderful things about apples is that they contain dietary fiber, 5 grams of that. They also contain flavin 3-ols and flavonols. Those are also good phytonutrients. And then some tips for apples are don't peel your apple, as Laura said. 2/3 of the fiber and lots of the antioxidants are actually in the peel. And did you know there's over 2,500 varieties of apples grown in the United States? Most of those apples are going to be handpicked in the fall. And then I also wanted to highlight different spices in this presentation. So as you saw in the second smoothie that Laura made, there's cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and clove in that one. And spices and herbs have been extensively studied in different countries because of the high antioxidant activity in certain spices and their beneficial effects on human health. As part of our diet, spices and herbs, in addition to fruits and vegetables, could provide us with additional sources of natural antioxidants. Antioxidants from spices are a large group of bioactive compounds which consist of flavonoids, phenolic compounds, sulfur-containing compounds, tannins, alkaloids, phenolic diterpenes, and vitamins. And natural antioxidants contained in spices help to reduce oxidative stress, which is a tool for preventing cancer. And we also wanted to give you some other liquid-based options for smoothies. You can also use milk. Nutritional or protein shakes can also be used for smoothies. Yogurt, soy milk, and almond milk are other options. So you can tailor smoothies to your liking. And then I also wanted to provide you with some of the resources that I used to build this presentation. The first is the American Institute for Cancer Research. The second is My Plate. And then the third is fruitsandveggies.org. And that's a website that has, that kind of celebrates the benefits of fruits and vegetables, has a lot of different tips for incorporating them into your diet. So I wanted to provide you again with just several different resources that you can utilize to look up more nutrition information. And finally, we wanted you to type your answers in the comment, but we want to see what you learned today. So if you'll type in the comment section what you learned today, we would love to hear that. And then another question that we have for you that you can also type the answers in the comments section is, are you going to make any changes as a result of this information? And one thing that I hope that you do is increase your fruit and vegetable consumption. All right, thank you. And we're going to take a couple questions here. It looks like we have from the audience. All right. Can other supplements be used in the smoothies? In terms of supplements, it says, what about oat milk? Can we use that? Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you definitely can use something like oatmeal or oat milk in this smoothie. Any other questions out there? Laura, I'm going to ask you a question. So Laura's a pediatric dietitian. And I wanted to just get Laura's opinion on maybe some clever ways to increase fruit and vegetable consumption with kids.
Sure, yeah. Well, you know, I have a 2.5-year-old son, so this is my life on a daily basis. But one thing I always try to do is take the pressure off of eating fruits and vegetables. My son loves fruits, so we always offer those as often as possible. And then we always offer a vegetable on his plate. If he doesn't eat it, that's, you know, that's his choice. But really, you know, putting the choice on him. And sometimes he surprises us, you know, maybe one night he won't touch his broccoli. In the next night I'm cooking broccoli and he takes a raw stem and eats it like an ice cream cone. So, you know, I really just like to take the pressure off of it. Of course, mixing it into certain things. A favorite of mine is adding a little bit of, you know, cauliflower, maybe just some macaroni and cheese. Another great thing is to incorporate kids in the food preparation process when you can. So, you know, when they're old enough to start cutting fruits and vegetables or picking them, or even my son loves getting things out of the refrigerator or helping unload the groceries, to just getting them involved and exposed to those fruits and vegetables, and, you know, talking about how colorful they are and how fun, and involving peers is also another great thing with kids. If they see another kids eating it, then they're more apt to do so as well.
Thank you, Laura. And with that, we'll conclude. Oh, there's any GERD-friendly smoothie recipes? So that's another question that's out there. So with GERD, what I have to say, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease, in terms of friendly smoothie recipes, that is also, that's a great question. A lot of times with GERD, there's different foods that may cause different symptoms with different individuals. So I would say if you have any foods that kind of exacerbate or worsen your GERD symptoms, that those would be things to avoid when you're adding those into smoothies. And then we also have another question here: how to teach a child to eat veggies once she reaches the point of anemia. So in terms of that, I mean, I would just explore, you know, different vegetables. And then there's also things, you know, that you can do to increase iron absorption. So one tip for that is you can actually pair a good source of iron with a source of vitamin C to increase the absorption. So that would be one way, one tip for, you know, increasing absorption of iron. Calorie intake is important for cancer patients. Can smoothies take place of meals? Actually, yes, a lot of times smoothies or even nutritional shakes sometimes do take the place of the meal. I mean, we want them to be packed with nutrition. So that's why today, you know, we put more in it just than the Kate Farms drink, because you can add, you know, different important vitamins and minerals and other nutrients by adding different types of foods to smoothies. So, and a lot of times smoothies, you know, those are basically for different purposes. Some people do use them to enhance their calorie intake. So we do see that a lot with individuals who have cancer. But there are also individuals out there who may just want to be doing something like, you know, having something healthy in the morning for breakfast. And that would be a preference where they might make a smoothie mixed with fruit. So the nice thing about smoothies is they can kind of be tailored to any type of lifestyle. So got some good questions coming in here. Oh, blender suggestions. Laura, you got any blender suggestions?
Well,
what you got there?
I do not own two blenders, so this is our home blender, and then I borrowed this Ninja blender from a friend, and I will say I'm quite impressed with it. I do find that, you know, these Ninja blenders tend to be expensive, so that's something to keep in mind. This good old trusty blender that, you know, I think my husband had it when we got married, so who knows how old it is, but it worked just fine. So yeah, I think any base kitchen blender will do. And they also make those smaller, more compact ones now that will do a single serving for you, which is great.
Yep, those come in handy. I suggest those a lot to my patients, is the like magic bullet types where you can make an individual serving. So great suggestions. All right, on that note, we are going to conclude today's event. And again, we'd like to thank Laura and Kate Farms for joining us on today's event. And we will talk to you all later. Happy holidays.
Thanks, everyone. Happy holidays.